All right, so this is session 5 of Blades in the Dark, Iruvia, which is material that comes from the special edition of the Blades in the Dark book. It is a Persian-themed setting for the city of Uduasha in the country of Iruvia. If you know Blades in the Dark, there are several different nations that have a particular feel. This one has a Persian aesthetic to it, a Persian feel. It's mostly trappings, but has some interesting bits to it. And I've worked on some other bits to add in. It's a slightly different place, and I'll come to talk about that. Rather than having the ghosts all around as a constant issue, instead the city is kind of a crater with tiers that have been built. So imagine that we come out from the outside down in these different levels with stairs and things like that. And in the center is a great flame that burns and illuminates during the day. And during the night, they actually close these great metal hoods over it to create a night effect. That actually is why they don't have ghosts, because they get drawn down into this generate big fire in the center. The other thing is that there are 4 great black stone slabs that are said to be the holding places of 4 demons. And they have been here for ages. Each of the 4 great houses of the nobles here are associated with one of those, and that affects their character and so on. So those are the big sort of trappings of the setting. Now, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is an online gaming community. We have a ton of games on the calendar. We're putting more all the time. You can find out about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. And if you want, you can check out my blog at ageofravens.blogspot.com. So that's another thing that's available. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the 2 returning characters. This is an open table play, so we get a switch over cast from time to time. We get 2 returning characters. Then I'm going to frame what happened with the crew and where they're at, and then we're going to bring in the new characters. So, Esta, let's start with you.
Okay, my character's name is Esta. The group is called Esta's Troublemakers. It is not because she has taken a leadership role, but in fact, Irfan has just said that's the name of the group, and everyone goes along with him. But so does Esta. So anyway, she is recently widowed. She found herself a little unmoored after that happened. And so to sort of set a purpose to herself, she decided that she would assist Irfan because he was well liked in the neighborhood. And so they have put together this group of smugglers, and they are trying to do good and make a profit by smuggling. She has some modest magical skills, merely a few tricks that she picked up from her husband. She has a friend of her husband's who's a good friend of hers. But other than that, the people that she is close to are in this group. They are Irfan, and essentially she has a great love for the painter families of the city. That is all.
Excellent. And of course, the segue then brings us over to Irfan. Please tell us about Irfan.
Irfan Mahmoudi is the Rafiq for the group, which means he's a bit of a face, which he has a lovely face with a nice, well-trimmed beard. He's able to spend money on beard oils and the like because he happens to stay at the clock tower, which is our... Not that anyone knows, although I don't think anyone doesn't know. It's just kind of like a secret we don't talk about.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
And Irfan is good at making contacts and getting information about people. And his favorite friend outside of our little group of raconteurs is Nusha Courtesan.
That seems awesome. And you have a person you dislike, but we'll come back to that after a bit here.
Oh, that person's been gone for so long. I thought they just left the town.
Oh no, sir. That is not what in fact has happened. All right. So what I want to do now is have our new character Halal introduce himself, and I'm going to ask some questions of Halal.
All right. Halal is a Rakshasa. He is a being who was put into the earth and refused to stay there. He is a monster that stalks the night. But inside of him, he feels still this responsibility. There is a beauty and a love that he still has, and that's what drives him to seek profit, and what keeps that little kernel of humanity still inside of him.
How did Halal get put in the ground?
There was a misunderstanding with the law.
Okay.
My beautiful wife was coveted by another. And when he tried to take advantage of her, I would not allow it. And I killed him. For this, I was executed, and my wife imprisoned, where she remains to this day.
So your wife is up in the mines, huh?
Or wherever there's, yeah, if that's the case, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have a tower, and they also have the mines. So the tower is somewhat scarier. It's closer to the fire, so you can choose where she has been placed.
I kind of like the tower.
Okay. So let me ask you, in terms of mechanically, tell us about the abilities that you've taken so we know kind of what your skill set is. And then I want to ask you some other leading questions.
Okay, let me pop up our thingy here so I can see my character. I've taken, for my stats, I have Hunt at 1, I have Prowl at 2, I have Skirmish at 1, I have Wreck at 2, and I have Command at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I took as my ability Monstrous, which allows me to do things that are beyond the abilities of normal human mortal people. And it also allows me to occasionally monster out and scare the bejesus out of folks.
What does that look like?
When I monster out?
Yeah.
I think generally, even if you see me, because I'm almost always cloaked, I try to stay wrapped. I'm pale. I'm gaunt. My eyes have that kind of milkiness to them. And when I monster out, my mouth distends. You see these enormous teeth. That kind of, the head sort of elongates. And you can see his hands are normally hands. If thin, they become long, and you can see those nails on them. And no matter how clean he tries to stay when he monsters out, there's always grave dirt underneath the nails.
So let me ask you this then. How is it that you, a truly terrifying visage, a truly scary fellow, have fallen in with a relatively happy-go-lucky group of smugglers? How has that happened, and how do you think you've managed to fit in?
If there's sort of the, coming in with already a little bit of us, the established, we've already got me there. I think at some point I hopped in to help them escape, or I drew people off from them. And the reason, despite all the horrible, I believe that there is still good. And I'm not... I am monstrous to see, but I don't think I'm a monster of heart. I don't think that. But I am pretty violent, and it sort of overcomes me when I get in a fight. But I imagine that it was something along the lines of just seeing the way they worked somehow, prowling through the night, observing, and noting that they were a more goodly group, and saying, well, this might be where I can get my profit. This might be where I can find a place. Though I don't know if at this point I trust them. I don't know if they've seen me full monster out.
We'll have to decide that. I will say that the other thing that's probably in your favor is the dog likes you. They have a dog named Lucky who probably likes you. I've got two other questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is, You've got a couple people listed as friend and enemy on your sheet. Can you tell me about them?
Yes, I have a guard, prison guard, and it is the person I imagine guards my wife when it's during the night shift, and I will occasionally come up to pay him to get a chance to see her or speak with her, and so he's on my friendly side.
Okay.
At least to get a glimpse of her or something. And then I have a death cult, which I haven't given enough thought to what exactly I think this death cultist. I imagine they see my resurrection as something to be emulated or want to know how I did it and probably want to take me and do terrible things to me to learn it.
Were you dug up or did you crawl up out of the dirt?
I crawled out.
Okay. All right. All right.
And I also have an animal.
And what's your animal?
My faithful companion. I have a jackal.
And what is the jackal's name?
His name is Suntmet.
Is he a big jackal, a little jackal?
Fairly small jackal. Probably not
jackal.
even the size of the dog if it's a good-sized dog. It's, he's a relatively small jackal.
Okay. Okay. All right. I like that. So we have that. Fraser, are you in good shape for me to talk to you about your character?
Yep.
Okay. Let's hear about Bijan.
Yeah, the alias is Switch. They're pretty small, probably like 1920, lithe, and they come from a trade background. Heritage is head rockin'. I really like the water bearers thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
The descendants of ancient mystic order that secured watering holes, and I think my vice is going to tie into that. I think I still do that stuff out of an obligation for my family or tribes, something like that.
Okay.
And of course, I took Ghost in the Machine, as everyone probably saw coming, but it was too cool not to take. So you can make inanimate objects move on their own as if possessed by a ghost, and then I can take stress to do more stuff with them. So I definitely think of them as like a mad scientist type, a little bit strange, not socially awkward or anything, but definitely I think that as far as the tribe goes, he was having to do this stuff on the sly, and part of the appeal of coming to here was that maybe people don't care or judge him or even encourage him to do these tinkerings. And yeah.
And what is this tinkering? Is it the machine or is it magic? What is going on there?
Yeah, I think it's the machine. I think there is a little bit of magical thing to it, but that will probably come later as I level up. I will discover these things.
And what do the things that you make look like generally?
I'm thinking definitely like steampunk gears and like rusty, gritty, not very pretty stuff like that.
Okay, so very, very base kind of rough looking.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Tell us about what abilities you took, just to give us a sense of those.
I took the Ghost in the Machine, and Insight is 3, Prowess is 2, Resolve is 1. I have 1 in Attune, 1 in Skirmish, 1 in Rec, 2 Tinker, 1 Study, 1 Survey.
Okay, so fairly well-rounded there.
Yeah.
And you said 18, 19, short. What do they look like? How do they dress?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of something like that right now to have a sense of that. But I think, well, we're all lifestyle one, right? So it can't be that nice. It's right. Pretty ratty. Not even one for me. Okay. So yeah, like fairly ratty, lots of loose-fitting robes, stuff that's easily washable, and yeah, sharp features. Not exactly. I'm kind of picturing Mouse from The Matrix now, kind of.
Okay,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. So the group is a group of smugglers, and they have an abandoned clock tower that they've taken over. They have a boat that they're able to run out onto the river. There's some serious river traffic as well as the rail traffic coming in. They're mostly focused on the docks. They've got that. They've actually put a vault in and made some steps to conceal their base from outside visions. So they just grabbed some new turf, and they've been operating for a bit. They haven't quite gotten to the next tier yet. How did you get mixed up in all of this?
Maybe. Well, you said they're like do-gooders. Maybe.
They're honorable.
Oh.
Honorable.
Okay. Maybe after the last job, or maybe I came with the turf. Like maybe I was a squatter.
I like that. It was a warehouse that was sort of run by an infernalist, and I imagine maybe you were hiding out there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you just kind of faded in to be part of the crew?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of time after that, I showed that I could be useful. Like maybe they took this fella out, and I don't know what the turf mechanically the turf is. Is it just turf?
Just turf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe by the time they came back, I had already sort of made myself useful and made it not a workshop, but cleaned it up and showed that I was like a hard worker and stuff like that, and maybe gave them the best like Oliver Twist face that I could.
That sounds reasonable.
Yes, that would totally work.
And who do you think is more of a pushover? Do you suppose it is Irfan or Esta? Between you two, what do you think?
I'll
let them say here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would have to say it's Irfan.
Really, I was thinking it was Esta.
See, I think you just played us against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mom and dad now, so when I don't get something from Esta, I hit up Irfan and vice versa.
That makes sense to me. By the way, as new crew members, I forgot this. One of the things they took for the crew is each PC may add +1 to one of their action ratings for either finesse, prowl, or skirmish.
You're welcome.
So you two can add that.
I think I will be prowling it up, especially considering my endeavors to go undercover as a water bearer descended person.
That sounds good. What about you, Tyler?
And this is just a straight add to dots?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, that's wonderful. I think let's see, it was prowl, skirmish, or
prowl, skirmish, or finesse.
Oh, okay. Can I take it up to 3?
Yeah.
I will take my prowl up to 3.
Wow. Crazy stealthy. All right. So they've seized this warehouse. They've got some guard people there. It's probably been a little bit of time since then that has rolled on. That turf that you took was in the area controlled by the gang known as the Forsaken. They're the ones that control the docks. So I put their reaction to you at a -1. So that's sort of the first time you've been noticed by other gangs. First time that has happened. But let me ask you this, Sherry. For Esta, what is the fallout for you from that whole demon possession?
I think that that essentially she gets like a choking cough, like at any sort of provocation right now. It's like if there's smoke in the air, or she drinks tea that's too hot, or she eats, anything that is granular, like rice or couscous or something. Something will stick in the back of her throat. She'll just cough and cough. She's just very prone to that right now.
Your explorer friend is very thankful for you of this, and he will note that you clearly do seem to have been injured. He will say, I am so sorry, but thank you for doing this.
It was nothing. It was a mistake in an unrelated situation. So, but I'm glad that we found it.
Oh, well, and he will thank you. I take it you don't mention to him the guy you now have as your link on the campus?
No, that would just worry him.
Okay, so you don't reveal that to him. You don't tell him that, his operation is perhaps got some holes in it. That seems fair.
Right, because it won't for him any longer.
Right. So that seems good. And that's Cardu is the name of that guy who you guys have. Irfan.
Yes.
So you have had a little coin to spend, and you have spent it, and you guys have a vault, and it was kind of nice. It was a good time. But you go to pay a call on your lady friend, and that is Nusha.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of the establishment kind of puts you off in a way that she hasn't before. She says, Nusha will be occupied all of today. Good, Irfan. Perhaps you should come back tomorrow.
Well, I would hate to interrupt my friend's pursuit of her profession, but are you saying that she will have no time to herself? Not even a moment?
And a generous benefactor has purchased her time for the full day.
Oh, very good. I hope that you get a good cut from that. That is lovely.
Yes, and she kind of tries to move you out the door.
I'm not moving. Is she safe?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, of course. This is a reputable house. Perhaps I know you are a man of the world, and I know that you have some coin. Perhaps one of our other young men or women who could attend to your needs for this day, Master Irfan.
Very generous to offer their services, but I was looking for a different kind of companionship. Thank you very much. Please do let her know that I stopped by.
I will certainly do that, Master Irfan.
Is there anything that seems... This is odd, but does she seem like she's hiding anything? Or is she more like, hey, I got a big fish and a killer John, and this is good for...
No, it'll be the thing that she's clearly... She knows you. She's known you for a while. And there is that thing that she's kind of... Well, she's trying to hide something, and you'll pick it up when one of the servant girls comes out and kind of you hear her kind of yelling into the kitchen. He goes, Visca wants more wine. Have it brought before he gets angry.
I will, on second thought, perhaps I would like to purchase services of a companion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That one, and I'll point to the girl who's asking about the wine.
She is young and perhaps a little less cultured.
I'm asking only for companionship. I will not harm her at all.
No. I merely mean that you are a sophisticated man of the world, and she is relatively
she's caught
stupid.
my eye.
All right, and she will grab the woman, the girl, and the girl's like. She has that look of a street urchin who got pulled in at some point, maybe a year ago, and they've tried to polish her up, and she hasn't taken. And she'll be like, "Hey,
my name is Irfan. You were working on something. Let me attend you. Who were you getting wine for again? Perhaps I'll let you do that."
Oh, Visca, he's here to see her again.
Who?
He really likes Nusha. He's kind of an ass.
He is. I happen to know Vishka.
Oh, yeah. But he's got a bunch of coin, so he's throwing that around.
That is important. What is your name, young girl?
Dar. I'll get a fancy name at some point.
I like Dar.
Pretty.
Dar is your name, and that's important. Dar, would you like to make a lot of coin?
Yes, I would.
Good. I'll be back shortly.
All right.
I'm going to go buy a lot of poison.
Oh my God. I'm going to come back to you.
Okay, just want to let you know.
All right. No, fair enough. Let me ask, what do you think their halal? What do you suppose your day-to-day role in the gang is? They do some. They got a few people that work for them, a very small group. They do some smuggling. Are you purely guards, or do you go and stalk and gather info? What do you imagine your day-to-day is?
I imagine it makes sense that I could do a lot of the scouting out potential targets. Do we just smuggle, or do we relieve people of things and then smuggle it?
That has happened in the past, that they have been told to acquire particular objects and then retrieve them.
There was some pre-smuggling required.
Yeah, pre-smuggling.
Pre-smuggling. I imagine I do a little bit of that scouting of places where we meet whoever it is we're going to get our stuff from to smuggle, and maybe keep that eye on people that are looking around there. I'm capable of being indiscreet, or being discreet, not indiscreet. Yeah, being discreet. Yeah, of being discreet, and then probably around the building. I'm more than happy to lift bales and tote barges or whatever.
All right, so tell me this: what have you been assigned to watch? What are you looking at right now?
I think I'm probably keeping an eye on a dock that we commonly get goods in from.
Okay.
Kind of checking to see if anybody's, moving into our kind of safe spot to receive goods, and kind of keeping an eye out for unusual folks so that if I need to, I can inquire who this guy was wandering around the dock.
You'll definitely see the Forsaken. They run on the docks. They're the gang that runs around here. They've got more people out and kind of footing it around, looking for people. Like, they're clearly on the alert. And they're the most ragtag of the gangs, but they've managed to kind of seize control of this area because it lies a little bit outside of the town.
And I know they're kind of hostile to us.
Yeah. They are they're the first gang to notice you. So they are asking around about that. You also will hear some sailors talking about, they heard that there was a wreck upriver, that some vessel went aground, but in the marsh. So what it was doing there, don't know. And they clearly don't have the full details. This might be a rumor, or it might be something they don't know about that. But this is the thing that's starting to percolate around the docks right now.
That sounds like a likely target. That's always good. It's only proper to go and find things that might be lost.
Salvage, yes.
Exactly.
Hey, what is your vice?
My vice is obligation. It is to make sure that I keep enough money that my wife is treated as well as possible in prison.
And you go and talk to your wife. What does she think about your new state?
She is not happy, and whenever she sees me, she cries. She shrinks from my touch. But I must touch her. It's not a pretty thing when we're together.
All right. I like that. So let me flip over to then Bijan. What do you suppose your day-to-day is like? Are you building things? Are you casing places? Are you guarding? What do you think that is?
I'm trying to prove that I belong here, so I think I'm looking for opportunities that would, as a young boy, thinks that they could handle, but perhaps not. I'd like to be like the kid that I like to be the mundane and monster of the week in this today's episode.
getting in over your head kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you mention this? Are you going to the bazaar? Are you checking out the noble houses? What do you suppose you're looking for?
The bazaar, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can certainly get a check on that, and you've been with the gang for a little while, so maybe people know you. Mm-hmm. And you are kind of wandering around there, and you've seen that there's clearly some turf war going on between some gangs over there in the bazaar. And there's kind of a bad gang, and then there's the Atahim.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're still a gang, they're kind of ex-military, and they don't like people preying on the common folk. Generally, it's their thing. And you maybe have a little bit of the look of the street thief to you, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So what would you do if one of these Atahim gang members like put his hand on you?
I think I'm like a pretty cocky kid now that I've got the backing of a gang. Like I consider myself part of them. So I think I would like slap it away.
Okay, kind of turn around, slap it away. You see the two guys behind him go, ooh.
Yeah, how old are they?
They're like in their 20s. This main guy's maybe in his 30s.
Right. Yeah, I like put my back even straighter and get like all rigid and like peacock up like a young man.
He says, you have the look of a shifty one about you. What are you doing here in the bazaar?
I'm just shopping, sir.
Just shopping. Well, be quick about your business here. You make me antsy. If I see you around, if I see purses being lifted, I'll be after your ears.
I kind of like do a half bow sarcastically and go back, and then I try to lift a purse.
All right. That sort of seems like finesse, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you're doing this pretty close to them, right?
Yeah, it's like particularly for me to do a test of skill in front of them to make sure that I can do it.
Absolutely. So I think this is desperate. Yes. Standard results.
Okay.
Seems like, appropriate to me on that.
Okay. Fitness. I'm gonna push myself. What was effect? Sorry.
Standard.
Standard. Okay. And push myself, so I'll have a die. 5.
So, you will definitely get this purse. But the second you've got it in your hand, this guy comes after you. Like bat out of hell, goes to chase you down, along with his 2 buddies.
Yeah.
So how do you what do you do?
Yeah, I don't want to resist that. That sounds fun. I want to do an Aladdin chase throughout the bazaar with these people.
Okay, so tell me what that would look like in terms of description, and then what ability you think it's going to be.
I think there's lots of people selling silks and wares, and what I do is I go into a really narrow alley and I start like parkouring off of each side to reach one of the silks, and then put myself up to the roof, so that my goal is that when they round that corner, I'm like up and away.
Oh, okay. Does that sound like maybe are we talking prowl or?
I think prowl, because it's the like doing it quickly, tumbly stuff.
Perfect. And trying to keep out of sight. So let's have you roll prowl.
Cool. And is this risky?
Yeah, because I think you got that was just a 4 or 5, so I don't think you put yourself in a desperate situation.
Cool. And do you have a devil's bargain?
Oh, let's see. Well, I'm going to say that I'll offer you an extra die, but if you fail, this guy's going to grab you, and somebody's going to say, "Hey, I think this kid is with the Estes troublemakers."
Okay.
So they'll ID you if you fail, if you want
Right.
to take that devil's bargain.
Sure. That sounds good.
Okay.
Haha, 6.
All right. We'll come back on that
Okay.
and go to that. So tell me, Esta, you have this new turf. You've taken care of your horrible infernalist rival. What's next on your agenda? What is it that you're looking to do? If you're talking, you're muted.
Again, someday I will grow up and be a real adult online. So I think that essentially we've gotten this new turf, but it sort of came to us, how did you say? It fell out of the sky for us for all practical purposes.
Right.
So I think she wants to make sure that things are okay for the rest of the group. So she is essentially trying to get a handle on all of this warehousing stuff.
Okay.
Essentially learning the books quickly, learning how to handle how this business works, putting up a front of, essentially being real warehousers where the smugglers move the stuff around and bring stuff back and all that stuff. But it's kind of trying to do that and keep up the smuggling business. So
what's one unusual thing you find in the warehouse besides all of this artifact stuff? What's something you find here when you go to kind of get everything set up?
I think that there were a set of things that were found in a dig earlier on, and they aren't things that work for an infernalist. They are pieces of an old machine that were dug up. And when Dux took them, he thought that they would be like, you could sell them as, for the metal or those sorts of things. But Bilal just held on to them because he didn't know what they were. And he was hoping it would be like part of a key to something. So we've got like this big crate full of all of these pieces, but everything has been taken apart. The only thing that we have is one of those schematics of like where they were dug up and the position they were in when they were dug up.
Okay. Okay. You also know that for something like that, your old friend Rubati, she's always in the market for that kind of thing. So if you wanted to sell that stuff on,
Okay.
she kind of likes that stuff. She could get you hooked up on those things. So it's all good.
Okay.
Okay. So what kind of poison then, Irfan?
Something that causes infertility. I don't want the stick to rise. Do you understand?
So not infertility per se, says the person behind the counter. You mean a diminishment of one's manhood?
Yes, you're the expert. I just wanted to go there.
I'm not an expert on that. It happened once, just once. But yes, but I'm certain that
I'm sure it happens to everyone.
That's what she said.
I'm told.
Yes. Anyway, this is to get this quickly without anybody noticing. I think we're talking either consort or sway. Does that seem reasonable? Because you're going to get this and you want it to be super effective, right?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, if it's permanent, then that's a possibility.
Well, let's see what you roll.
I think consorting with connections from my heritage background, friends, so consort feels right.
That feels right. I think this is standard.
Okay.
And just risky.
Okay.
You are working with a poisoner here.
All right. I have a couple stress, and this is awfully petty, so I will not spend stress to get bonus dice this time.
Fair enough.
2 3s, not great.
So, as you're doing this, he's getting this ready, you happen to drop the name Visca. And he kind of stops and he goes, I apologize, dear sir, but if this involves Visca, I cannot become involved.
Well, can you refer someone who can? I do have coin to spend.
I do understand that, sir, but I will have to leave that to you on your own. Visca is a customer of mine.
Visca is a slaver and a despicable human being. I tell you what, why don't you keep that one customer? And then when I tell everyone that I know who you deal with, because I now know that is one of your customers, and you begin to lose other, more reputable customers, you might reconsider what you have done today.
I will have to
walk away.
You will say, I will have to deal with that given Visca's connections. And he bows, which seems odd to you because Visca doesn't have connections.
Visca doesn't have connections.
Then perhaps I am mistaken.
Who are these connections? I believe that Visca has lied to you and made a fool of you. I would hate for you to feel like a fool when you find out the truth that he is nothing but a worthless piece of dung.
I know that Master Visca has been employed by House Ancuset of late. I do not wish to cross their paths.
What do I know about House Ancuset, like off the top of my head?
So they're one of the big 4 houses. And let me get the sort of descriptor of them. They're ones that run about half the Leviathan Hunter fleet that are elsewhere. They're kind of in a battle with Anxera as another one. It's also the house that your now missing Zindiq friend comes from.
Oh, right. Our good friend who just disappeared. Very well. It seems that we have reached an impasse. Thank you for your time.
So what do you say to Dar when you go back?
I just give her a little bit of coin.
She says, you want me to, I mean, I can give him the stronger wine.
If he gets angry, does he get violent?
The ladies of the house have things that they sometimes put in the wine of customers to ease their temperament. I don't have any of that, but I could go and get some from one of the rooms and drop it in there.
You, Dar, are my favorite person right now.
Oh, good. I'll go do that.
Very well.
And she will head off to do that. She will probably spend the next half hour kind of taking more wine in, dropping it in there, and she'll come back and she'll say, "He'll probably be out in a couple hours."
Good. And what is the standard policy? The house would allow him to sleep, or they might take him home?
Oh no, he's a valued customer. He pays coin. He would be allowed to sleep.
Oh, good.
They would leave him alone in a room to rest.
Room to rest. Interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Dar.
And Dar will take your coin, bites on it, and then heads off.
Cool. Is that a full coin that I've spent? I'm just
no. I think
okay.
that's fine.
Walking around money.
Incidentals. Let me check in. What I want to do is check in then with our get names because it always takes me a while. Halal and then Bijan, and then I'd like to bring people together.
Yes, I'm headed towards Halal, so yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Halal, you picked up some rumors, heard some things. What's your next step?
I'm well aware of my limitations in actually dealing with people, but I would like to, if I'm hearing these rumors, try and insinuate myself close enough that if I can get, am I lucky enough to hear anything like a location? Are we talking like off down the river towards the marshes sort of thing? Is that what we're...
It definitely said the marshes, which that area is a ways up and is kind of a dangerous, of course that's the marshes eventually bleed into the Deathlands. The river's relatively safe, but if you go too far off the beaten path, people wouldn't go to the marshes. Even smugglers avoid it.
If I can isolate someone who's spreading these rumors sufficiently to move up quietly and speak with them, I would like to confirm a little of the rumor.
That maybe sounds like a social skill. Does command, like trying to scare the dude?
That's probably what I was trying to do, is do a bit of an intimidation. And I did want to also kind of see how to roll, because before we get into something big, I'd like to see how to roll.
Okay. So what you'll do is you will click on your command, I believe.
Okay.
And that should pop up a die roll prompt, right?
Oh, it does.
And it'll be risky.
It is risky.
You don't want to draw attention.
Okay.
That's my default. And then standard results.
Okay. So I just hit submit and off it goes?
Off it goes.
All right. Bonus die. I don't have any.
No, not unless you want to spend stress.
I won't. So how did I do?
You got a 5.
Oh, is that good? That is good.
Yeah. I think the most appropriate thing here is kind of more a limited effect, more reduced effect. It's a 4 and a 5 as a mixed success. So I think you're going to get some, but not like a whole lot. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
And what you'll get from this guy's like, yeah, no, I don't know. I heard that it was a bigger ship. Might have been a smuggler vessel that went down, but people aren't talking about it. The way we know is that one of the houses was apparently asking around down here, and they were scrambling some people, and they might take a boat up there to go in and look into it. But this is all rumor. We don't know exactly what's going on.
So you haven't heard of a boat going up there yet?
No, but I assume they'll be heading out soon.
Have you heard anything about the people that were on this boat that has been stranded? Did they escape?
No, that's just the thing is, well, I mean, if they're on there and they didn't, I mean, that's a nasty area. But we kind of know the people. There was nothing expected. So and no one has gone out. So the identity of the boat itself is a mystery.
I like mysteries.
Good. I'm glad you do. Now I'm going to back away from you slowly and leave.
You have done me a great service.
That's good. He takes off.
Cool. And then I'm going to head back home to let people better capable of planning know this little tidbit I've gotten to prove my worth.
Yeah. So you are up at the top of that alley as those three come around the corner, and the two behind actually laugh at the older guy. And he turns around and he's like, listen, you keep your mouths quiet. Keep an eye out for that one. We find him. I want someone's ear on my belt. And yeah, they do head out. It seems kind of nasty piece of work, this guy.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Do you want to taunt him further, or do you want to head back?
Maybe I follow on the rooftops to see where he hangs his hat.
Okay. It does look like, as you kind of move along, check it out, this guy must be one of the senior people for the gang here. And like he must run these particular blocks that you've come into. Does that seem part of the Atahim? He's got like a couple blocks. He's still sort of subservient to the larger gang.
Okay. And what he was saying, like, just the reputation of them not wanting regular folks to get rolled for their money. Is that like a pretense, or is it an actual thing that they believe in? Or is this like a racket that they do?
It seems to you like this guy is scummy. But everything else you've heard about them has been, well, I mean, it's still dangerous, but this guy does seem maybe he's kind of a problem, more vicious than the rest of the gang, more itchy hand on the scabbard kind of thing.
Okay.
Does that seem fair?
Okay. Do I catch a name?
Yeah, let's give you a name here. Hang on, I've got it written down here. His name is Nozar the Welder.
Nozar the Welder. Okay. There we go. Nozar the Welder is a problem. That's what I read.
Okay. So is it okay if I cut to the group back together at the tower? Okay. So let's take up with the four of you there. There's a fine supply of fresh dates. Lucky is sort of up by the edge of the table. The jackal keeps kind of circling the room. So you actually have, plus you've got a couple of your subsidiary gang members there as well. So Esta, do you do formal meetings, or how do you when everyone gathers, what happens?
It's all okay when everyone gathers. Irfan makes everyone feel better, and we just talk, and everything gets solved out. That's why everyone loves Irfan.
So you're pushing this over onto Irfan, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Just wanted to be sure. So Irfan, as often happens, Esta manages to push the conversation over to you.
That's quite all right. My friends, many things are happening at Uduasha. I was wondering if perhaps... well, first, new business. Are there any new rumors or goings-on that would be of import to the crew?
I do think I have heard something that might profit us. There is a ship up the marsh. It is said to be lost, stranded. Perhaps a smuggler ship. But there is a noble family apparently attempting to recover it. They have not left yet from what I've ascertained. Perhaps stealing the march on them. We could profit from their unfortunate circumstances.
That is an interesting opportunity. Esta,
Yes.
what do you think about the possibility of absconding with an entire ship?
Entire ship? That could be sort of interesting. If we could box it or wrap it, we could shrink it, put it on our ship, and bring it back.
That is one of your rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a possibility. Okay.
That was not a joke. That is
Yeah, I was like, holy fuck, can we?
Yeah. That is one of her rituals. She has two of them.
Yes. So we could certainly gear up for something like that. Do you have a sense of how big the ship is?
It was said to be somewhat large, but if it's a smuggler's vessel, that means it still has to be within reason, one would think.
Very true. Okay. So sure. Some tarps, some ropes, a few rocks to move around, some good ties. We could bring it back. Whole ship.
good. Good. And we can travel light. We do not need a great number of laborers. I would imagine there's still a crew on the stranded ship. So we will need to find some manner of convincing them to disembark. If only our friend was not lost in debauchery, those bombs could come in handy.
Out of character, would it be possible to do ghosts in the machine to make the boat come to us?
I think you'd need to at least see the object to be able to do something like that.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
So we have some things, and you're right about the crew. I mean, worst case scenario, we could agree to rescue them.
Oh, that's so boring. And it doesn't profit us a boat.
Surely we could find means to frighten them away from it.
You're right. I bet we could come up with something.
I could rig up a haunted trap for us, maybe. Because I can, one of my things is to make numerous objects move. So, and they're all inanimate. So I imagine we could get some of those, like, I don't know what it would look like here, but those Chinese lanterns that you put in the water. But I have them float all around and fuck with their heads and stuff, so they start disembarking, or maybe.
That sounds good.
That is a very interesting idea.
Okay.
So it sounds to me like we kind of have a job.
Yeah.
Right? We got a score?
Yeah. After it's all done, I'm biting on some coin and I say, also, I came upon Nozar the welder in the bazaar, and he's he doesn't like me very much. Just something to be aware of. So what job are we doing?
So I think the boat. But I thought maybe, Irfan, you had something you were thinking of
Yeah,
bringing up?
yes, just a murder. But Sean, could you tease that out a bit more? Why is it that this laborer, trader, crafter would be upset with you? What's happened?
Well, he was strong-arming me in the bazaar because I looked like a thief, and
I've told you to work on that.
to stop looking like a thief.
Yes, we're smugglers. We're not supposed to look like thieves, my friend.
Well, I like these threads, you know.
If you would part the hair, the part does so much to hide the wispy eyes. Very well, we'll have to go and have a polite conversation. You'll need to apologize, and we'll work that out. But afterwards,
he's very mean to all those around him. I think that we would be doing them a favor.
It's a terrible job, and he's a horrible person. He can be mean, but he has a valuable service that he provides. And he thinks that you look like a thief. That for that alone, you should apologize.
Is he actually a welder?
I'm not sure. I just overheard that.
You're pretty sure not. You expect that's probably a name from his time in the army.
Yes. Well,
I've never heard of welder as a nickname, so that one threw me. But okay.
Yeah. Well, he started it, and I had to finish it. That's all.
And
Like
there's
a ghost, I
that awesome
disappeared.
moment when you say he started it, and you see like Eston's eyes just kind of blink out, like she's like, okay.
Yes.
I will help you rectify this situation once we've procured a boat and murdered a foul slaver.
Wait, what?
Slaver.
Slaver. Exactly. Visca. You remember Visca? Yes.
No.
No?
Did we meet Visca?
Well, often his name is replaced with curses. He is a slaver. He and I have I have been at the business end of the tools he employs.
Wait,
And,
he has done you an injustice, Irfan?
Many, countless injustices.
Is it
All
time
right.
for him to meet his end, then, you say?
It is far past that time. However, he is in the brothel where my friend works, and if he were to meet that untimely end there, it will bring great suspicion because it seems that he is currently, or at least rumored to be attached to House and Goosehead.
Sounds like Nozar got him.
Hmm.
How high is this whorehouse?
I'm able to purchase their services, so I would not say terribly.
Is it multiple stories? Does it have a
I
tall
see.
roof?
Yes, I thought you meant as in expense. Is it like a 1 level, 2 level?
That's probably a 3 level, like that sort of. I imagine it more like the sort of the Chinese style with the galleries and the main entryway and so on.
And Nusha is normally on which floor?
Oh, she's well regarded, so she's on the 3rd floor.
Nusha is on the 3rd floor.
It is sometimes unfortunate how people can become depressed and seek release from this mortal coil, leaping from high spaces to their deaths.
Lol, you make my day.
Might land on Nozar, right?
One thing at a time, my young friend.
Yeah. So, are we doing the ship plan?
We should.
Okay. So this kind of sounds like a transport thing. You've talked about, you've got your vessel. You'd head up there quietly. That sounds like the typical point that you're doing. Does that seem reasonable?
Is it deception if we're trying to get them to disembark the ship?
What's the point of infiltration then?
The ship?
I think either one works. I mean, we know the shape of it. We know that you are heading up and going to try to convince them of this thing. I think this is fairly bold and daring. You're trying to outrun some other people who are highly placed. So we'll give you an extra die. I don't think this is going to expose a vulnerability, and I don't think they're strongest against it. So I think that's a wash. Do you have any friends or contacts providing aid or insight?
I have a factory boss. I don't think that would help.
Okay.
I have my explorer friend who has traveled in all sorts of terrain and has told me before about when they have to travel through the marshes, what sort of modifications have to be made to the boats.
Okay. All right.
Essentially, you have to take, the sticks to push away and to get yourself unmoored from the mud flats and things like that.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you an extra die for that. So that looks like 3 dice for this engagement roll.
Yes.
And you would like to roll there, Fraser?
Yeah, I've never rolled.
Before we're doing engagement, correct? So
Yeah.
Load?
How could I work in gathering some information about, like, I have eye for weakness. When you gather information about someone's vulnerabilities, you get +1 effect. If I use the information to help plan a score, you also get +1 die to the engagement roll. So I just want to see, like, does anybody
So
see
you could say, before we go, I'm going to go and hit the docks and see what I can find out.
I will say that. I'm going to say that now. Before we go, I'd like to head down to the docks, see what I can find out.
All right. That sounds like consort to me.
Okay. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, extra D. I know.
No, I think that's always
makes a
worth
difference.
doing. Especially because you bought that as a thing. You want to make sure you use it.
Did I not go? Okay, hold on. That's right. Okay, so consort.
Risky, standard.
What do you think, Esta? Should I stress get me a die here?
Yeah. And let's see here. Yeah, and I'll help you.
Ooh.
So, yes.
So give me another die, or you have to roll to give me a die?
Gives you another die.
All right. Here we go. 2 extra dice.
Oof.
Oh, that is
Wrong.
At least it's gather information, though. You get something, right?
You get, normally with that, you get just a question. Gather information doesn't generate bad stuff. It's just a step thing. It's kind of a mechanical one. You get +1 effect. So I'll let you ask either 1 question and I'll tell you a lot, or 2 questions and I'll tell you a little each.
Esta gets to ask 1 and I'll ask 1.
Okay.
I'll ask, how much time do we have before a quote-unquote rescue mission heads out and reaches the boat?
There are a group of nobles that are doing on the quiet, getting people together to go out there, a small boat, and they'll probably be heading out there in a couple of hours.
Yeesh.
So
And
your timetable
how
is
are they
tight.
traveling? Are they traveling by, I know if I can't get this answer, that's fine, but they're heading out, what, on foot, on a boat?
Oh, you will know they're heading out on boat. That seems like an easy thing to know.
All
Off of
right.
that. Okay. Sherry.
I think the question that I will ask is, let's see here. Who is it that's out there?
Interesting. Somebody that House Ancuset wants to get a hold of and maybe murder.
Okay. So this is someone who wants to be hidden.
Yes.
Like they might have been trying to get away.
Or come here.
Come here. Okay.
Anku said is the which ones again?
Ankuset are the ones that are with the Leviathan fleets. And they're also the ones, of course, tied to our friend from earlier.
Mm.
And they're also your Zindiq's house. But that's a whole nother can of worms. So it sounds to me like we're looking at 4 dice for this approach roll with that assist there. Fraser, go ahead and roll 4 dice. I mean, what are the chances that you'll do badly on this?
Yeah, mid-result.
Mid-result. Okay. So
also my load is medium.
Okay. We're going to take up here in just a second because you'll hit the marsh going through there, and our shot then is of this capsized boat with a great big hole in the side. And we'll take our 5-minute break.
Tyler, I don't think that my lanterns are gonna do anything anymore.
What?
I don't think my lanterns, my inanimate lantern, is going to
Oh,
matter anymore.
why is that?
Because the ship's upside down and there's a hole in it.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be less of a, yeah.
You can always flash back to other preparations you've made. So
Yeah, I will. Oh, I didn't have my TV screen on, or my thing.
Yeah,
my projection watchy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems less of an issue of scaring folks off than I'd originally thought too. So.
Yeah, maybe they'll be alive.
Huh. Sherry, I gotta say, when the phrase wrap it up, make it small, and take it with us came up, I was like, holy crap, that's pretty freaking awesome.
It is, isn't it? There's one thing I can do. It's awesome spells. So
Sherry goes to, if there's magic for cleaning herself up, this is the first magic she'll take in any system. After that, for anything involving logistics.
I just picture Esta's room as like Picard's room with all the little mini enterprises, except that they're real ships.
it could happen.
Yeah.
Esta and the Wasp. So, what do you think that upgrade movie is going to be like, Fraser?
What upgrade movie?
Have you seen that where the guy has like the cybernetic implants that kind of take him over?
Oh, I vaguely recall something like that.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'll let you know next time.
I watched the trailer for it, and I know it's supposed to come out like in the next week or two. And the camera work looked really interesting in it. So, all right. So we take up with you having rolled here. Now your ship is this smuggler cutter ship, which is big enough for all of you, plus some cargo. It's well camouflaged. That's one of the nice things about your vessel is it hides, it's sleek, it's dark in the water. It also has a gun, a big gun on the front of it that your Zindiq built before she went nuts and got caught up in her sex dungeon stuff. His sex dungeon stuff, sorry. In any case, you've got that, and you will see, we've got mostly starlight that we've got here. That's coming down. It's clear there's no light pollution from the city, so we see all of the stars and the patchwork of the bands in the sky, probably the fragments and bits of the shattered sun that sometimes drift across. And this is a marsh that you see, it looks like the boat, like something must have happened to it. And it's definitely kind of gone over. It's not that big. Maybe it's a bit bigger than your boat. And it's definitely kind of on the marshy, wet lands. It's gone from the water up onto that. So who pilots the boat? Don't need to make a roll, but just tell me who actually drives it.
I do.
Okay. So where do you want to put the boat up?
As we approach, I'm probably
yes.
going to say, perhaps I should go and take a closer look before we approach. I can be difficult to notice.
All right. That would be good. And essentially, I'll set to a little bit of the solid land there so he can pick his way over. Essentially, I'm going to be concentrating on getting the ship over there, but with good water so that, essentially a clean channel.
Okay.
Pick up whatever load it is that we get. And
as it goes inland, I mean, you can see the flashing in the distance of the Deathlands, the ethereal spectral force over there. Maybe in the far distance, you'll see the glow of the rail line, a couple miles away, raised up. But here you're seeing mostly sort of the the reeds and the willows and all of that.
Would they have been trying to get to the rail line or come from there?
That'd be walking through the Deathlands. It's a seriously dangerous thing, but it could be. The marsh goes for a ways here. So you want to get over there quietly and take a look around then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, how far distant is it?
I imagine you could jump off the boat, jog over there and take a look.
Okay.
Trying to conceal the squelching of your boots as you go through.
Yeah, if we can get within about 100 feet, I think I'll actually leap over towards it.
Okay.
And just push myself and do that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. Tell me what that looks like.
As I say, let me take a look. I'll tell you in a moment. And I'll go to the prow of the ship, and there might be that little bit of bounce on the ship, but it won't be like, it still will be kind of quiet, because just a shadow disappearing from the ship, and pushing myself means I take a stress.
I think so, yeah. Oh, 2 stress, that's right.
Is it 2 stress? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that still gives me the advantages of whatever giving stress is, it says. So,
okay.
I'm going to then attempt to leap that 100 feet and land quietly, almost bug-like on the hull there.
Okay. So I think the more the question is the prowl here. So I think you're rolling your prowl, and you spent that to push yourself. So you get an extra die.
Okay. Risky?
I think this is definitely risky.
And standard?
Standard.
Okay. So I get the extra die. And I submit. And I rolled horribly. I got a 3.
So you come down on this thing, and your footsteps are quiet. But 2 things happen sort of simultaneously. One is that this boat is not as well settled as you hoped it was. And so when you kind of land on it, it starts to shift and move and sink. And also, when you land, you realize that there's another boat there.
Oh, shit.
And you see this little, like, cutter boat there, and you'll see this guy with a rifle sitting in the boat. And he's going to see you. So now,
can I protect him?
How would you protect him?
Is he an inanimate object?
Wait, is he an inanimate object?
Isn't he like a ghoul or something?
No, he is not an inanimate object. He is animated.
Okay, maybe if he has like a line that he's jumping with for the boat or something like that, I could like tug on it or something to let him know.
Sadly, it's all my ghoulish strength, but I do happen to have my Fine Shadow Cloak on, so it does improve the effect level when I sneak around. I don't know if that makes a difference.
It would had you succeeded.
Oh, okay. But you could make a noise in the opposite direction there, Fraser.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's I want to tell you what you're going to have to resist, sure. And then let's come to Fraser. So we get 2 consequences that you're dealing with. One is you going up to your knees in the mud. The other one is this guy spotting you. So you could try and resist one of those consequences, or if Fraser can give me a good reason how he can protect you from one of those, I'll let him resist the consequence for you. I don't hear anything from Fraser. So
I try not to be spotted. I've been buried before. I could deal with going knee deep in dirt, but I don't want to be spotted.
All right, Halal. So I think that is going to be prowess. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll that prowess. Just click on that, I believe.
Okay. All right, no bonus die, and I rolled. How did I do?
Got a 5. So you only take 1 stress to avoid being seen. But the boat does shift, and you go down, and you're kind of stuck there right now in the mud until someone gets you out.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
The others, this guy hasn't seen you. He just thought the boat shifted. And he looks antsy, like he's got this voltaic rifle out, and he's sort of clearly nervous, like he's watching the horizon, like into the marsh. So let's cut back to the boat, which is kind of hidden away. What do you three want to do?
Did he say he seems to have been gone for? That's he's a Rakshasa, so who knows how they.
By the starlight, you can see he landed, the boat shifted, and then he got shorter by about 1.5 feet, and he hasn't moved since then.
Esther, I didn't know he could shrink that.
I think he's sinking.
This is different. We should help him. Bichon, you seem light on your feet. I know that he's not an inanimate object, but there are other things you could use to help him.
Well, I mean, I thought he was like a dead guy or something like that, right? So I was trying to be all like,
except that phrase of animating the dead that causes them to be undead. So even if he were that, I don't think it would qualify. Let's not pick these.
Yeah.
Let's simply help our friend.
So did we see the fella?
No.
With a gun? No? Okay. Then I think what I would do is probably like...
Well, he hasn't called for help, right? He hasn't called back for help.
It's odd to you. He has not said a word, and he's clearly kind of gone down low.
Yeah.
It suggests he sees something.
I like that. Good catch, Rich.
What? Maybe if I just swim over with some tools to help get him out.
Okay. That does seem like prowl.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to be quiet, does that seem like a fair thing to say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this is actually desperate.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Because
there's a guy who's sort of alerted and he has a rifle.
Yeah. But I don't know that, so...
It's a desperate standard.
Okay. I'm going to push myself for an extra D. For sure. And I got a 6.
Oh, yeah. So you get over quietly to Halal, and you will see that guy with the rifle kind of crouched down. He's got it out. Tell me how you get Halal out.
I think I'll mark my tinkering tools, and I think I put some chemicals on it that like reverses the suction or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, something still quiet, just a chemical reaction. Or actually, maybe it solidifies the mud so that he can like crack it out. Actually.
Okay.
That makes more
Gets
sense.
a little purchase. Okay.
Thank you.
So let me ask Esta or Fawn, those two are still over there. Is there anything you're doing, or shall I cut back to our delightful duo?
Well, the one thing is both of them have gone over there and gone super silent, which suggests to me that there's trouble. So I think that what it is like with the ship and stuff, we kind of let it carry itself along there, just using the sticks as quietly and slowly as possible to keep it from running up on the banks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get a little downstream of it so I can look back.
Okay.
Get a sense of what's going on.
Oh, so your intent right now is to kind of do like a survey or a study to get a sense of the environment?
It's absolutely study or survey.
Perfect. I think that's going to be pretty easy.
Okay.
So risky standard.
Okay.
The issue sort of is whether you be spotted. But let's look at that.
I will try that. And he says it's risky standard.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens. I got a 6. So I'm good at academics.
You will move up there's a very nervous guy on this boat. He's got that rifle out. He's clearly been left behind by a couple of people.
Okay.
You can see that hole that's in the side of the boat that's kind of turned over looks like maybe an explosion.
Oh.
So what you're reading is this boat with the people came down here and got ambushed by this other boat. Probably some of the people on the ambushed boat have taken off into the marsh, and this guy with the rifle, his buddies have taken off after them, and he's waiting there for them to come back.
Okay.
Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah. Yes, it does. And I think that what it is that I have to give my people a distraction so they can get whatever's happening over there, like, essentially neutralized. And since we're on the ship, he's going to see us as we pass. I'll call out to the ship and I'll be, hey, any survivors? Hey.
Okay. Arfan, are you down with that?
Yes, I'm definitely down with that. That's a great idea. Much better than my plans.
I assumed your plan involves some light murder.
Well, that's back at so no.
Okay.
Yes, maybe. I like this one. I'll go with it.
All right. So what do you think that setup action looks like, Sherry? What role do we want to make for that?
I really want it to be a distraction. So whatever that would be. Tell
me what you think is appropriate. Is it sway? Consort?
Oh, I'm horrible at both of those things.
Is it command? Are you shouting at them?
Yeah, actually, I have to sound like a boat's captain. That sounds great. I will try that.
So this is a setup action, and we're just checking to see if you can give him additional effect.
Okay, that sounds good. I am going to attempt to do that.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Okay, and this is risky or
risky
standard?
Standard. Yep.
Risky standard. A 6.
Yeah, so this guy turns to look at you like he's been caught out. He didn't hear your boat come in. You're standing there like you look like a normal person there. And he kind of turns and his rifle is aimed completely away from anybody. So what do you do then, Halal?
I look and I'm guessing I know. I'm so sorry. Fraser, your character? Bajan. I think I know that you're able to play with mechanical things. Is that something we're all aware of?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Keep his gun from going off. As I just scoot straight forward and in one motion and pulling out my knife to keep him quiet.
All right. So that definitely seems like Bajan's in a great position to protect you if things go bad.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like skirmish to me. Does that seem like skirmish to you for the stabby stab?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is going to be risky, great effect.
Well, with setup, you could choose to take a better position, though, couldn't you?
Oh, okay. Do you want controlled and standard effect or risky and great effect?
Let's go with risky and great effect.
Okay.
All right. So risky and great effect. And I'm going to spend a stress to push myself and give a +1.
Two stress.
2 stress. Okay. And that gets +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Delicious.
Oh, that's a lot of stress.
Oh, I can taste it.
Did my little thing, but I know why. Never mind. Sorry. So I go back over here to skirmish. Risky.
And let me stop here before you actually roll.
Okay.
Don't forget to take a look at your loadout and see if you've got anything cool that can help you or resist things or so on. It's one of the things people kind of forget sometimes is their equipment stuff can be used to assist.
Would this be something that my cloak would help improve effect when I sneak around?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay.
So controlled and great. So you are in the best possible position here.
Okay. So I can pull that back, and so it's controlled and great. And I've got a die, and I'm rolling, and it does something. Let me do. Gotta roll.
When you murder this person like a whisper,
Oh.
what does that look like? As he's staring at Esta, like, who's this?
And there's just this kind of like whisper behind him as we see this kind of serrated knife come in and catch him just underneath the chin and go straight up in. And I lean in. Don't worry. It's not so bad.
And he'll kind of do that stumble, and he doesn't splash into the water with that roll. He slides down into the water. And you have dealt with this guy with that controlled great. His rifle is even there.
Wow.
Excellent. I'll wave towards our boat. Come on in.
Irfan?
Esther, do you think that we could pack both these up?
Sure.
The one boat is going to be a little more, the big sort of capsize boat is going to be certainly tricky to do. The other one will be easier for you to shrink and get a hold of and ritualize if you need to.
Could I patch the capsized hole?
Ooh, how would you do that?
With my tinkering tools.
Okay, tell me what it looks like in the fiction.
I think what it looks like is getting some quick dry tar and sliding it like with a lathe or whatever over the hole. I don't know how big the hole is, but
looks like a little explosion went off in it, so maybe
like a mesh and then put over that stuff. And it's like a quick dry thing. I think it's like definitely a rough patch that is only designed to last like an hour or something, but maybe enough for us to be able to like pull it out of the water once the hole is plugged and then make it easier.
So I'm going to say risky because you're taking time and kind of eating up some time here. Limited effect. Like it'll last for a little while. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And I've got fine tinkering tools.
Ooh, so you think that would increase your effect?
I think so.
Then let's do that. I like it.
Alrighty. So risky. Great effect?
Yeah. Well, standard effect, rather. It goes from weak to standard.
Okay. And just seems important, so I will push myself.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Haha. 6.
Okay, so you can get this patched up.
Yeah, so I think it's just like a mesh of some metallic stuff, and then it is so like fine that when I push over the quick set dry tar stuff, the mesh holds it for a time, and then maybe we can get it up and out.
So you've got a little bit longer boat, and then a smaller boat. The one is a little bit larger than your boat, and the other one is a little bit smaller.
Okay. So if we put the smaller one in the bigger one, wrap them in the tarp, shrink it. But while he's doing the patching, can I take a look to see where people ran off through? Essentially get an idea of where people went.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's not even really necessary a roll because it is swamp. And so the tracks are pretty obvious. It looks like a pair of people carrying a third person, kind of see the drags, ran off, and then 3 people kind of spread out and followed them. You'll also see in the boat, when you do kind of flip it over, there are some people who've drowned. Essentially, when the boat flipped, they got jammed in the mud. So there are probably about 3 or 4 sailors that are just mud smothered. You pull their bodies out, gray. It'll kind of have to push them out into the water, and they'll float. They all float down here, so it's all good.
Now, what's the thing with leaving a corpse undone or untaken care of? Is there like a problem with that?
Well, yeah, actually, because right now you'll know that because these guys are dead and this new guy is dead, there are some ghosts that are starting to manifest here.
Okay, so what can I do to minimize that? I have attune, I have spirit bottles, I have those kinds of things. I have a lightning hook.
So you want to ward them away, make sure nothing happens with that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. If you mark one of those objects, doesn't seem like we need to roll.
Okay.
But I do need you to describe to me with that lightning hook and the bottles what it looks like, how you handle these ghosts that are manifesting around here, these spirits.
They had that thing of out here, away from the demon flames and everything. They look so obvious to her, and I think to her they're just like these, like a blue cloud, like a light shimmery blue cloud. Mm-hmm. And even though they're ghosts, they're not demons, so they're sort of, she's sort of drawn to them even, and she kind of comes to and I think she's got to take out the spirit bottles and pull them in there as sort of like a mercy that they don't go to the Deadlands or whatever, so that they can be put down. So it's just that kind of sort of, this is the safe place. So she almost cajoles them with her spell. That
sounds great because they're getting pulled. There's the pull of the Deathlands, and there's also the pull of the city in the distance.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Okay, so I know what's going on with that. We had some murder. We have some boat repair. We have some ghosts taken care of. Irfan, what are you up to?
Great question. So we're taking care of. I think I'm following this trail.
Okay.
That seems pretty important. There's a person that they're after. Perhaps he was drug away by the others. That interests me. I don't want to leave my crew behind, but I don't want us to lose sight of our potential opportunity here. So that's what I'm doing.
That sounds great. So you're kind of following, and are you more interested in kind of staying low and not being seen, or are you more interested in getting a sense of what's going on here?
Honestly, getting a sense of what's going on here. I'm not great at sneaking around, so my plan is to just play dumb, which I'm really good at.
Okay, so that sounds like survey to me. Does that seem like a good skill for you to roll with?
Yeah, I've never rolled that. That sounds awesome. Risky standard?
Risky standard. I think the risk right now is of course getting spotted. But I think it's a good way to get info here. Look at
that would be a 6. Wow.
So you'll move up through the swamp. Have you ever been out in a place like this?
It's been quite a long time.
Yeah. I imagine in your youth, Irfan, there would have been those dares for kids to actually come out to a place like this, but it's never light out here. It's always just the stars. And you moving through that, trying to keep the squelch of your boots down. And you will see that there are, at least you'll see 2 of these pursuers. They've kind of spread out their line. Like they're moving to try and find these other people. And they've actually spread out a distance to kind of cover that range. And it looks to you like up ahead, there is this weird mound. And as you're watching and as you're seeing these figures kind of moving and surveying the area, you will see movement, like some of the rushes kind of shake up on the mound. Makes you think that maybe that's where the people who ran off are hiding. Do to get to there, you'd still have to go past at least one or two of these guys. But you figure that's where it's at.
That's good enough for me. I will head back to the group.
Okay. So Irfan returns. You will shrink the boats. I forget. Do we need to roll for that ritual?
I don't have any sense of that, but we certainly can if you are.
No, let's not roll for the ritual. Why should we do that? It doesn't seem. It's crazy and funny. And you shrink a boat with a boat.
Yes.
Yo, dog. I hear you.
Dog, and we put it on our boat.
Keep in mind that those boats still weigh like 2 boats onto your boat.
But we have Halal, and he has like superhuman strength. So, and then as soon as that's done, we'll see if we can help those people.
Irfan returns back to give you that info, and the 4 of you have to decide what to do. You've got a couple boats, you've made some money, you could leave now and be all the wealthier for it.
Can I ask something just real quick, kind of for our group dynamic?
Sure.
I realized, and I'm a little disappointed in myself, that I went off and killed that guy off of information that my friends on the boat had, which was these were bad guys who had chased someone off into the marsh. Is it normal in our group? Is it not an awful thing I did to go up and just kill a guy?
No, I think that like you froze and you had figured out what the situation was. Because understand that like back at the time, what we knew about what was going on, we would have fully discussed. Okay. So then you recognized what it was. You went really still. So we knew something bad was happening. And then when Bijan got up there, he also went super still, which tells us that there was danger there. So that was why when we went past, I did the distraction. So it was clearly my intent.
Is your sense that in the group that you kind of give people the room to kind of make those life or death decisions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right then. I was just wanting to make sure that I hadn't like gone beyond our normal purview of what we do as a crew.
If you're standing a few feet away from a rifle, it is okay to take out that rifle holder any way you need to.
Awesome. Cool.
So Irfan returns to tell you about these 3 huntsmen and the mound.
Well, gentlemen, shall we go?
The mound was not moving.
You say there are watchers in between us and it, though.
Indeed. We will need to be very stealthy or need some kind of distraction.
Like lanterns.
Ooh, lanterns, yes. That sounds cool. Let's freak people out with some lanterns.
Why don't we?
All right. So what is that going to look like?
I imagine Irfan would lead us there, and when we see the people that I let loose the lanterns.
Move through the marsh and stuff. I just want to kind of set the scene for you. Kind of moving through in between the rushes. There are these 3 huntsmen kind of moving in that line through whatever mist is here. And they are definitely moving towards that mound. So they're between you and it. But they can just barely see each other. So tell me what you do. There, Bijan.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is there like a Persian version of the Chinese ceremonial dragon stuff? You know, how like they have the 3 pieces with lanterns inside of them that make it glow? I'm thinking I could use something like that to freak them out, like make it a sort of creature that's moving through the forest or something.
Oh yeah, one of the things is definitely there are handcrafted lanterns and things we've already established in the fiction. So yeah, you could clearly do that, and you want to roll them out.
Yeah, lead them away or freak them out, like have it sort of charge at them and act very weird and spooky. And we're kind of like out in no man's land already, right? So they might be skittish already or something.
So I think that's going to be a setup action using your tinker.
Sounds good.
And then we'll figure out who is taking advantage of that.
Cool. And is my fine tinkering tools giving me an advantage? And is it risky?
I think you used your fine tinkering tools on that boat. They're probably are tar covered right now, is what I'm going to say. But yeah, let's say I'm going to say this is definitely risky. Standard effect.
Cool.
You've got lantern, don't you, on your gear?
Yeah, I'll mark that off.
Okay. In that case, you can either make that controlled or make that great effect.
Oh.
If you make it great effect, I'll let that setup work for everybody else's action.
I'll do that then. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll also push myself.
Yes, please. So tasty.
All right.
You don't have to resist a consequence.
6.
Oh, you guys are killing me tonight.
It's like the opposite of last time.
Yeah. So these lanterns go out. I mean, and they're here in these marsh. They're terrified, and then they hear the sound of the lanterns rolling, and then they see them like will-o-wisps, in the swamp there, and they're turning and kind of freaking out, and they're not sure what to do, like because they know they're here near the Deathlands. Have they moved far enough that the ghosts are coming for them? They don't know. They don't want to be out here. So with that in mind, and the terror on these three guys' face, they're well apart from each other. Tell me what you want to do then, Halal.
Oh, me. All right.
Yeah, and I'm going to check in with the other two.
Okay. So the distraction is working. They are certainly crazy.
They're in a vulnerable position because all of their attention is completely focused on these freaky lanterns.
I suppose I'll give a look over. Rich, you're probably the most combat capable of the others.
I don't have skirmish.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely Asta.
All right, I'll look over. I'm taking the far one. I will come back across, make sure the others don't concentrate. As I move off, and I'd like to kind of do a hunt thing of the stalking in.
Oh yeah, I like hunt. And normally be risky. Standard effect. You've got that setup from Bijan. Mm-hmm. So do you want to use that to make it easier to do or more effect?
I think I want to make it easier to do. I need to do it.
Okay,
better.
So controlled standard effect.
Okay.
Roll with your hunt then.
And I have no bonus dice. So did that roll?
Yeah, that was not good.
Oh, that was bad.
Let me see here how I want to describe that.
Oh, dearie me.
There. So delicious.
It's a good thing that you went for controlled, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let me think here what the best. I think that what happens is you get up on him and you're just about there when your foot comes down on something that moves.
Oh.
And there is some kind of, you're not sure if it's an alligator or a reptile or whatever that causes you to lose your footing. And right now, you two are just kind of looking at each other. You're not going to suffer a consequence, but you both kind of freeze there. And there's some kind of gator between the two of you. Does that seem fair?
Oh, yeah, that seems awesome.
Okay. Then let's go to Esta, our other combatant. You have the advantage of these lantern distractions.
I do. And that's the thing is that I'm essentially, how do you say, I make sure they have a clear line between them and those, that I'm not between the lantern and the guy that I can get up to.
Okay.
He'll have his eyes on that and be more concerned about that. It gives me a better chance to sneak up on him and take a whack at him.
Okay.
Is there any way I could help?
Yeah. Tell me how you would help.
Well, I imagine that I could just, if need be her backup. I can prowl on my own.
Sure.
So I'll be there.
If you spend a stress, you can give her an extra die.
I will spend a stress.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
So you think that's prowl then for you, Sherry?
So you get prowl or skirmish? Which do you prefer?
You tell me. Tell me what it looks like. If you're
I'll say prowl to
concentrating
get
on
up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prowl. You got an extra die. It's risky, standard effect, but because of the lanterns, it can be controlled standard effect or risky great effect.
Let's go controlled standard.
Boo. Okay. All right. Let's have you roll then.
Okay. Standard. Four, but controlled.
I think that you will get this guy taken down. But it's not pretty. And it is going to raise the alarm from the furthest guy out, unless you want to resist that consequence.
Sure, I'll resist it.
Okay. So let's see. I think that'll probably be prowess.
That was what I just rolled, right? Was prowl?
Prowess is you'll roll your prowess for to resist.
Which is what prowl is under.
Yeah, that's true.
So it cost me 3. Ouch.
But that third guy doesn't see it.
Good.
Okay. So lanterns have gone off. It looks like to you there, Bajan, that Esta's got the middle one. Irfan's backing her up on that. It doesn't look like Halal has dealt with his, and there's that third guy out there. So what do you want to do now? What do you think, Bajan?
I want to dart up to what's his face there, Halal, and say, "Come on, we can take it," and draw my blade.
Okay, so you want to rush up and sort of join in the fray here? Okay, so that does sound like skirmish.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it could be a group action with both of us attempting to take down the alligator.
Absolutely, absolutely. The alligator and this other guy, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, the other guy too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think this is desperate.
Okay.
Desperate and let's say standard effect. You guys have that distraction, so I think we'll keep it standard effect rather than unlimited. So both of you then would roll your skirmish. Are you leading the group actions? Is what you're telling me, Fraser?
Yeah, I think I would. I only have 1 stress to spare, but that's what makes it exciting. Do you think that my silence potion file would give us more effect?
Yes.
We'll mark that off then.
You silence potion file, kind of throw that, and it's absolutely quiet there. Not going to alert anybody else. Let's have you roll, and then also we will have then Halal roll skirmish.
Okay. Skirmish, okay. Sounds good. Risky, no, desperate, right?
Desperate. So you get to mark XP.
Yeah. And standard, because of the
now. Yeah. Oh no, great now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'll just desperate. Great. Oh, not the best. But what did you get? Wait, Tyler, you can help me out.
Best single roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's now me joining into this as a group thing?
Yeah, you roll your skirmish as well, and we take whoever rolled the best, we take that for both people.
And so we have to both roll skirmish.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be the same action, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, then. So I will do so. And that is, I still have to be on the same thing. What is it? Desperate and
great.
and great. Oh,
And
my
mark
mercy.
XP.
Oh, and market XP. I will do so in just a moment. I don't have bonus dice unless I want to spin it, and I don't right now. So I submit. Haha.
That's pretty good. That's better than mine.
Yeah.
And
So
somewhere there's XP.
I tell you what, I think you can take out both this gator and this guy. I think that it's mostly halal.
Oh yeah.
Bajan maybe looks a little fumbly, but I think that is going to draw the attention of that third guy.
Can I describe something maybe with it?
Sure.
As we go in and we take out this second guy and the gator, I think I had to grab the gator and just like slung it away from us. So we see the gator fly. This guy can see the gator flying away.
Yeah. It flips through the air. You'll fling that away. You take this guy down. It is noisy, though. And so the consequence here, unless either of you two want to resist it, is that this guy's going to see what's going on.
I don't have no stress.
I can attempt to resist that, but I like the idea he sees us. I like
Okay.
the flying gator.
All right. So the gator goes flying. This guy will see what is going on. And I think that he is going to take a shot. He needs to take somebody down. So I think that he's going to shoot the person who just threw the gator. So he raises up his pistol and he does a light wound to you.
Alrighty.
Okay. So you can mark that or you can resist it.
Or you
If
can
you
use
have
armor.
Oh, goddamn armor. Or you can use armor.
I don't think I have armor.
You do if you want to have it.
If you probably have it in your loadout.
I didn't take armor and I run light, so no, that I
Oh.
don't have that.
Oh, like you already marked 3 items?
Yeah, I have.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
only.
you don't have to mark them until you use them.
Oh.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
exist in a state of potential for you until
Yeah,
you
Oh,
mark
it's
okay.
great. So if you want to say you have armor, you can have armor.
Oh. I don't think I have armor. I don't
Okay,
think I have
that's fair enough. So you will take essentially a level 1 harm is what you will mark there.
And where do I mark that?
So underneath the stress track, there's a 3, 2, 1 boxes.
Gotcha.
Essentially, right in one of those 1 boxes. Essentially, he fires this off and poof, will catch you in the side, and blood starts coming off. If he was closer, you probably would have taken a more nasty hit, but he's far enough away that he just winged you.
All right.
Or
Cool.
wung you. I don't know how that's said. But anyway, Esta and Irfan, gunfire has broken out.
Yes, I think panicked shooty guy needs to go down next.
Yeah. How do you two take down Panic Shooty Guy?
I'm thinking a messy wrestling. Yeah, which is going out to skirmish would be.
Okay.
Unless you have a preference.
I wanted to shoot him with that rifle that we picked up off of the.
Oh, a second shot. Okay. Do you have that skill, Hunt?
No, this looks easy to use. It's made specifically for peasants.
Okay. All right, then you should do that thing.
Okay.
I will assist by essentially I'll show him how you do it. I'll take this the safety off there.
So you mark a stress,
Mhm.
and that'll give him an extra die. What is your hunt?
It's blank.
Okay. So in that case, with her help, you'll get to roll a die.
Can I stress myself to get myself more dice or anything?
Absolutely. You can spend 2 stress to get yourself another die.
Can I spend a stress to say that I've distracted him by throwing an alligator?
I like it. Yeah. Because I imagine the gator like landed either head first or tail first, and either way, it's going in the mud.
Excellent.
Plus, it's probably bouncing, knocking some of those lanterns away.
Okay, so I have 2 bonus dice. I'm not spending my stress then.
Okay. In that case, then you have 2 dice.
Fine. I'll do it. It means I got 3 dice.
3 dice.
Is it desperate because I don't know what I'm doing, or what?
Yeah, I think it's desperate. Standard effect.
Awesome. And so in this, I should do 3 bonus dice because I have no hunt. Is that right?
That is correct.
Just didn't roll 20. I'm just double checking that.
Yep.
The roll 20 parlance is followed. There's a 6, a 5, and a 3.
Nice.
So you get this rifle up, kind of shaky, and she's like, safety. No, balance. Brace. And this guy is still like looking at the alligator, and then he turns and sees you, and then there's that pop. And I imagine you see that spray of fine red mist, and he will collapse and sink into the mud there.
Told you it was easy.
It clearly was. I had no idea. We should hold on to that.
It's a fine rifle.
It's yours, Irfan. It's yours.
You've made a lot of noise.
Leg brace, you
Yes.
said?
We have. And so I think it just makes sense to turn back to the mound and go, we've taken down your pursuers. We don't know who you are, but they seem like they were up to no good. Do you need a ride somewhere?
One of them stands up.
Mm-hmm.
You see this woman, kind of nice clothing, a little outlander. I mean, she's clearly Iruvian, but she has clothing that looks a little bit non-Iruvian on. And she's like, who are you people?
She goes, we are... Look, we were just here because we heard there were some boats, so we came to scavenge. And then we saw there was this drama going down. No, we don't have any bad feelings towards people. Would you like a ride? We can go downriver. We can go back to the town. But we know that there's a ship from the one family coming
House
here.
Ancusette, and we are not friends of them at all.
So we would like to be gone soon.
Yes. If you can get us to Uduasha, we will reward you handsomely.
We can do that. Come on.
And she will kind of gesture, and you will see another Iruvian stand up, and they pick up a third person, an older gentleman who looks a little ashen, like he's clearly in his 40s or 50s, and you can see that his leg is injured, and they will begin carrying him along the marshlands.
We will get you a doctor when we get to town.
Cool. Also, I traumaed out, so yeah.
So tell me what the trauma out looked like when you ran for the boat.
Well, I think maybe what happened is I helped distract the gator and everything, but maybe when Halal went for the man, I was like, I was doing the Save It Private Ryan thinking I was ready for combat, but he was about to kill me or something like that, and that's when Halal stepped in and took them out. So I'm a little bit reeling from it, and it's all just sort of I think Halal is sort of pushing me along, and
Come on, my boy.
Yeah,
Let's go.
What do you want to call that effect right now?
For choosing a trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up being even more reckless.
Good. Fraser taking reckless. Let's just double up on that. Anyway, so these three, this woman and the older man and this other person, they're quiet. They don't say anything. They will get to the boat and they kind of keep their lips tight.
Okay.
And you will sail back down river. And you've got that smuggler boat that's camouflage, darkness. It's hard to see here. And you will pass by what's clearly the Ancusette boat. And they're not kidding around. You can see that they've got at least a dozen guys on there, armed to the teeth, and they sail past you. You don't see them see you. You get past quietly, and you will get back to the city. You have that little dock that's kind of an underdock, and then you can take your passage up. All of you are covered in mud. I don't know if any of you have walked in marsh or swamplands for any part of time. I think all of us have. Imagine all of that mud just caked on you, and it's had a chance to dry on the ride back.
Do you have some way to hose ourselves off before we go in? I mean, that was...
dangling your legs in the water, I think, is probably the best thing that you have.
Yeah. All right.
This...
Yeah, we'll get them in there and go, okay, you can stay here until morning. You need a doctor? Is there one you trust, or should we get one we know?
If you get one that you know, that would be appreciated. I don't want to go to anybody that I know, says the woman.
Okay. All right.
And you'll be able to get that that doctor in. Doctor will take care of this, essentially get a street doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And when he looks like he's in good shape, the woman will come over and she'll hand you 8 coins. Pretty serious amount of money. And she'll say, "Trust I have your discretion?"
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It would be just as deadly for us as it would be for you if anyone found out.
We will not forget this.
Okay.
Let's take 2 minutes for bio, quick, and then we'll do the score resolution, the stuff that you get. We can still leave that. If you want to talk to people, we can do that at some point, either tonight or next time, but we'll do the score res.
Okay.
Okay, so take 2.
This is neat. I'm still having to figure out the rules. I didn't realize that like stuff you take with you, you use in the moment.
Yeah, it's nice because it means you don't have to worry about picking equipment or anything like that. And then there's some nice options on there.
What is the Spirit Bane charm?
So there is some discussion of that in the book, but it's really whatever you want it to be. you tell me what it's used for. We figure out how it would work to give you an advantage or to increase your effect or whatnot. That's the way I play most of the equipment stuff.
Gotcha. But going off of like Spirit Bane as a keyword for it, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, certainly dealing with ghosts, we'd know it was in that area.
Okay. Cool. Neat. Yeah, I didn't realize I had all that awesome equipment. All I thought I had was what was on my character sheet.
No.
Playbook. Neat.
When they get back, you're going to have 8 coin, which your vault is not full. It does have space if you want to put some of that coin in the vault, or you can divvy it out as you wish there.
Why not? If it's okay with everyone, how about if we each take 1 and put 4 in the vault? That gives us stuff to invest money in.
Okay. I'll put 4 coin in the vault. So let's talk heat. I think this is a smoother, quiet job, but we have a high-profile target, and you did kill some dudes. So that would be 3 heat. -1 for your just passing through ability means that it's going to go up to 2 additional heat. So you'll be at 4 heat then. Still level 0 wanted. And we'll worry about entanglements later. You know what I'm going to do? I think here, because we just got about 10 minutes left, I think I actually want to do the XP tonight, and we'll start with downtime next time. Does that seem cool with you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's look at experience here, which is a page number I always have to look up. And 48. All right. So, Sherry, let's start with you.
Certainly.
You marked XP for any desperate actions that you had.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. Oh, I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
Sorry.
Tell me about your playbook specific XP trigger.
Mine is if I addressed a challenge with planning or teamwork. I think I did both of those quite a bit.
Okay.
The planning for the ritual with taking the tarps and all the stuff to wrap it, and of course working with the others to assist them when I could.
So I'm going to say then 2 points for that.
Thank you.
I am super generous. And tell me about your how you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. And you can tell me now about that stuff.
That's interesting. I think that, let's see here. I think that one of the things is that my drive is essentially to find a new place to fit into.
Mm-hmm.
And she has, I mean, that's essentially, these smugglers are her family. And so getting that warehouse, she's trying to make it set up so that that's a workable situation for everyone and do all the things that people need them to do. So it's very much a thing of sort of that this is her surrogate family, even though she hasn't sort of processed it as that.
I like it. So mark a point.
All right.
And you don't have to worry about your issues from Vice or traumas.
Not today.
Let's talk to Bijan. You marked your various desperate actions, correct?
Yep. And did I address a challenge with technical skill or devices?
Oh, yeah. A couple of things.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot. So I'm going to give you 2 points for that.
Cool.
Tell me about how did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think I tried to show it in the bazaar, showing just like my disposition with the person, that I'm like cocky, I have something to prove. Especially,
yeah, that was a good scene. You went for it. You took a risk. So yeah, definitely a point for that.
Cool.
And because you get a trauma, you get an experience point for it.
Yeah. Woohoo. Sweet.
That seems pretty cool. And then we're going to go to Irfan. Irfan, tell me about your playbook specific XP trigger.
That would be you. You addressed a challenge with subterfuge or influence. I think I definitely tried to use influence against the poison vendor.
Yeah, and I think you were part of the whole subterfuge sneaking along there. So I'll give you 2 points for that.
Okay.
Your work here in the stalking and hiding and the whole plan of sneaking in here to do this.
Well, and poison the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And you did poison the guy, just not the best poison.
No, that's okay to start.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, your background? I think the whole thing with your consort friend and
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
So that's a point for that.
You struggled with issues from your vice? I mean, I don't. I mean, the vice is pleasure, theater, and art, and kind of Nusha, but
Yeah, no, I'll give you a point. I mean, that was the whole.
Okay,
My whole
I'll take
goal was to bring that side of things in, to
Okay.
make that a thing, because she is, caught between several people.
Indeed.
All right, then. What about Halal?
My XP earns off of challenge, addressing a challenge with stealth and violence.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really did some of that. Yeah.
So you get 2 points, and you can put those in any of the 4 experience tracks. There are tracks under each of under Insight, Prowess, and Resolve, and then there's also a track for playbook abilities. So you choose where you want to put those points.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I need to alter what I've done before then. Okay.
Sure.
So when I got my 1 for during in play.
The desperate action?
Uh-huh.
It goes to the whatever action you rolled.
So that would be prowess?
Yeah.
Because it was in my... Okay. Gotcha. And now I have 2 I can spend between prowess, resolve, or insight, or into an ability.
Yep. And I think you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, background. We certainly got some nice stuff about who you are. So I think that's worth another point.
Okay. So that's 3 total. Thank you, Cole.
Fraser and Tyler, because you guys are coming in late, you also get, there have been 4 sessions, so you get 4 XP ticks that you may also add to your sheet.
Thank you.
Cool.
Just to kind of get a little bit of that close there. So next time we'll take up with the fallout from this job, the entanglements and the downtime, and maybe getting details on who these people were, and we'll play up on that, and we'll do some roses and thorns at the end of next session. Does that seem a good stopping place? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, then I am going to stop the broadcast.